Back when I launched my channel in 2016, I made a video called Top 7 Things That I Want in Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon. That was my first video on my Pokemon channel, and now it's sort of becoming a tradition for me to talk about the things I want in the newest Pokemon games. And why would I break that tradition here? Today is the 3rd year anniversary of this channel, so what better way to come back but with style? Pokemon Sword and Shield are already confirmed to be coming out this year, and while we only know the basis of the region and the starter Pokemon, it's still fun to speculate and talk about our hopes. Before we start, I would like to point out that on the Direct it said, gameplay is not final, so even if one of my wishes contradicts what you saw in the trailer, it could still happen. As always, remember that these are just my opinions, and if you disagree, then you can shut the fuck. Hey everyone, my name is Shiny Zoroark, and welcome to my top 10 hopes for Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. Number 10. A convenient online feature. I have friends from all around the world, and it was very convenient to be able to play online with them using the PSS in Pokemon X and Y. But that all changed when Sun and Moon introduced the dreaded Festival Plaza. This feature, in my opinion, is probably the worst thing Alola gave us. It's such a hassle in comparison to the player search system from Generation 6, which was so convenient because it was always on the bottom screen. Whenever my friends were online, I was aware, and when local players were around, I knew that too. Festival Plaza was a nice idea, but it was executed terribly, and I think that the simplistic and easy to use nature of the PSS was too hard to follow up and that they should have kept it. I know that the Switch is a single screen, but I would like to see some more simplistic online feature thrown into the game as Sword and Shield's online feature. Number 9. A hard mode. In a world where Pokemon becomes easier game after game, a lot of people have started complaining. That's why I think that we really need an option to play a harder mode. They had this feature briefly in Pokemon Black 2 and Pokemon White 2, but they executed it extremely poorly and it was taken out of future games. Most RPGs today ask you if you would like to play on a specific difficulty, usually easy, medium, and hard, and I see no reason why Pokemon couldn't be the same. Let's say medium is the difficulty that Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon are, which in my opinion are one of the most difficult Pokemon games. Imagine a game twice as harder. I could see myself doing several playthroughs of Sword and Shield if this were the case. Number 8. Wild Overworld Pokemon. I think the verdict on Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee's use of wild Pokemon in the overworld was that it was a success. Being able to pick and choose which Pokemon you run into was very convenient, and it allowed the Pokemon world to truly feel alive. In some cases, it made traveling around the region even more fun. It kept the surprise of encountering a new Pokemon while removing the tediousness of having to run away every time you don't want to catch something. That being said, while wild Pokemon in the overworld was fun, the catching mechanics of Let's Go returning wouldn't make much sense in my opinion. Number 7. Less linearity and handholding. While I actually enjoyed the Alola games, it's safe to admit that they are the most linear Pokemon games. Literally, Melee Island was pretty much a tutorial island, which is literally a fourth of the region, and that kinda stinks in my opinion because it's such a cool place. Also, there's no variety in the order you go places. You beat one gym and then you go to the next one and that's set in stone. Instead, I would like to be able to have multiple options on where I choose to go next. The Kanto games executed this by letting you choose between fighting Sabrina and Koga first, and I chose to fight Koga at a severe disadvantage. Sword and Shield could expand on this even more by letting us challenge the gyms or whatever takes their place in any order that we want. Number 6. A lot more new Pokemon. Sure, there are already around 800 Pokemon, but in my opinion there can never be enough. I want to see a game like Pokemon Black and White where there are only new Pokemon. It's seriously a strong point about those games in my opinion. They started us off with a fresh new set of creatures. No matter where you went, there was a new Pokemon that you most likely had never seen before. Everything was a mystery. What type is this? What does it evolve into? Sadly, based on the trailer, this probably won't happen, but I can wish, can't I? We could even see some new evolutions in baby Pokemon for already existing Pokemon. And let's not forget, it is an even-numbered generation, so we are due for a new evolution. Also, in the past 2 generations, there have been significantly less Pokemon than before. Give us more than 70 or 80 new Pokemon, please. Number 5. Mega Evolutions returning. I hate to say it, but Z-moves were a bust. They were definitely not met with the same excitement as Mega Evolutions, and they're simply not as good in my opinion. Mega Evolutions are a lot better because they shed some light on Pokemon that you otherwise wouldn't care much about. For example, nobody cared about Mawile or Beedrill, but Mega Evolutions allowed those Pokemon a second chance to be worthwhile. I know a lot of fans still want to see a Mega Flygon, and that needs to happen in Generation 8. I personally would love to see a Mega Infernape, or all of the Sinnoh starters for that matter. So what better way to bring back Megas than by having them a staple in Generation 8, and then making the highly requested Mega forms of the Generation 4 starters in the inevitable Sinnoh remakes. Number 4. The expansion of trainer customization. Trainer customization definitely seems like a mainstay in the Pokemon world now, and it's a welcome one at that. I really love the premise, but my main complaint was that the female trainer has way more customization options in X and Y, and that didn't really change in Sun and Moon. Maybe it's because X and Y takes place in the France-based Kalos, but I actually thought that the customization got worse in Generation 7. X and Y had a lot of nice and various clothing, but Alola just had different variations of shorts and t-shirts, and not much else. I also think an upscale boutique much like the one in Lumio City should come back. Imagine walking around the Galar region as fly as my trainer did in X and Y. But yeah, all I can hope for is an equal amount of clothing for both trainers, and clothing that varies immensely in Sword and Shield. Number 3. Pokemon Interaction. Pokemon following you is just one of those things that I love in a Pokemon game. The feature was amazing in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and it was even better in Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. It gave me an idea that my Pokemon were my friends or partners rather than just fragments of data. It makes them feel more real in my eyes, and I grew to enjoy things like that. We got to see how some Pokemon interact with the world, and you can even ride on some Pokemon in the air, on land, or in the sea. Obviously, I know it will be a huge undertaking to get all the Pokemon, including the new ones they will add into the game following you, but I think it needs to happen. Pokemon Amie and Pokemon Refresh are features I really enjoyed in Generation 6, and it would be just as cool if they kept or even expanded that in Sword and Shield as well. I think the interaction with Pikachu and Eevee in Let's Go is a good preview of what we could potentially see in Generation 8, and if so, I'm all open for it. Number 2. Choosable trainer classes. Let's face it, the Pokemon formula is getting old. Defeat the gym leaders, go to the Pokemon League, defeat the champion, and don't you dare say that Sun and Moon fixed this. But sir, trials are a lot different than gyms. No! Let's be honest, they are just disguised gyms. The trial is a gym puzzle and the totem is a gym leader, plain and simple. Now don't get me wrong here, I have nothing against the gym leader formula or even the trial formula. I just think it would be cool to see a game where you could pick your class. In the Pokemon anime, there are a lot of things that people can be. Pokemon trainer, coordinator, performer, and other exciting things like that. There could even be an option to join the evil team for all I care. I just want more to do. There are so many choices that I can't even name them all. I think it would be very cool, and Nintendo has been reimagining their big games lately, so why not? Number 1. Post-game content. I'm beginning to sound like a broken record on this, but that's because it needs to happen. Pokemon used to be good about having an aftergame that's worthwhile. In Generation 2 and their remakes, we got to go to Kanto. Emerald had the Battle Frontier, Fire Red and Leaf Green had the Sevi Islands, Platinum had a new island as well as the Battle Frontier, and Black and White 2 had a lot of things to do, but most significantly was the Pokemon World Tournament. Then with the release of Generation 6, they started to have barely anything in the postgame, and that pattern continued up until even the latest games, Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. In my opinion, the best possible thing they could do is send us back to Kalos. The Galar region is based on parts of the United Kingdom, and the English Channel Tunnel goes straight from the United Kingdom to France, which in this case would take you back to Kalos. There is a place called Comarine City with a monorail, and I can see you entering the Kalos region from a monorail in Galar to conquer another region's gym leaders and Elite Four members, as well as seeing what the heroes from X and Y are up to. I'm not sure how likely this is, but either way, it's the number one thing I want to see in Pokemon Sword and Shield. And you are my number one viewer for making it to the end of this video. Yeah, I'm gonna go through the basic stuff, but I'll make it quick. What did you think of this video? Like and subscribe to let me know that you liked my list, and ring the bell for more Pokemon videos from me. It's gonna be exciting to see all the new stuff they announce on the road to Generation 8, and I hope you'll ride the hype train with me. But with all that said, my name is Shiny Zoroark, and I bid you adieu.